I'll have them niggas voting Democrat for 200 years.
I feel like I'm being brainwashed, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats?
Obviously, the Democratic Party comes to mind. Like, that's just the natural, that's just what you're taught, honestly. So I immediately think of the Democratic Party when I hear of racial equality and definitely civil rights.
Most people would probably say the Democrats, but this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetrated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Acts of the 1950s.
Oh my God, they did everything. They did everything bad. They defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan. What in the world? Imposed segregation? Oh my God. Oh my God. I did not know any of this. Perpetrated lynchings. Yeah, y'all were out here lynching people? And y'all fought civil rights? Y'all were criminal. Like, y'all were world-class menaces. I was taught, though, that the Democratic Party... I feel like I'm being brainwashed, bro. Let me just continue the video. Let me continue the video.
And 1960s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti-slavery party. Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. This effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case, Dred Scott versus Sandford. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The 7 justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats. The 2 justices who dissented, both Republicans. The slavery question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander-in-chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. The man
What? Abraham Lincoln was a Republican? Oh my God, bro. This is not right. What happened? Okay.
freed the slaves. 6 days after the Confederate Army surrendered, John Wilkes Booth, a Democrat, assassinated President Lincoln. Lincoln's vice president, a Democrat named Andrew Johnson, assumed the presidency. But Johnson adamantly opposed Lincoln's plan to integrate the newly freed slaves into the South's economic and social order. Johnson and the Democratic Party were unified in their opposition to the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, the 14th Amendment, which gave blacks citizenship, and the 15th Amendment, which gave blacks the vote. All three passed only because of universal Republican support. During the era of Reconstruction, federal troops stationed in the South helped secure rights for the newly freed slaves. Hundreds of black men were elected to Southern state legislatures as Republicans.
Bruh, nah, this gotta be cap, bro. This is no way. Why is it worldly known that, or not worldly, I was saying nationwide, like it's the Democratic Party has the stigma of being like pro, like very open for everything, free everybody rocks, everyone deserves equal freedom. Whole time, every abomination in U.S. history towards African Americans was literally done by the Democratic Party. Like every single one. Like y'all killed MLK too. Was the person who did that a Democrat? Like what wrong thing in the United States history of every detrimental act towards African Americans wasn't done by a person of the Democratic Party? It seems like literally every single one was done by the Democratic Party, which is extremely ironic because it's very convenient for schools to leave that out. It's super convenient for schools to leave that information out. You learn about Abraham Lincoln. You don't learn that he was a Republican. You learn about slavery. You don't learn that it was ran by Democrats. You learn about the Ku Klux Klan. You don't learn that it was ran by Democratic Party. You don't learn any of that. It's like, we'll teach you this part, but we don't want to tell you this right here because like this could kind of ruin the agenda. But anyways, this is a shock to me, as you can see.
Black Republicans served in the U.S. Congress by 1900. The Democrats did not elect a black man to Congress until 1935. But after Reconstruction ended, when the federal troops went home, Democrats roared back into power in the South. They quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses.
Look this up.
And they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert black citizens' right to vote.
And I have a question. If the Democratic Party did all of this, why are black people being pushed to be Democrats? Why is it a stigma to be a Republican as a black person? If you say you're a Republican around black people, why is it a stigma? That's a genuine question. I'm not saying this. This is not rhetorical. I genuinely want to know, why is there a stigma towards being a Republican nowadays when the Democratic Party has done abomination after abomination after abomination after abomination? They have done everything.
And how is all of this enforced? By terror, much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest.
Of course.
As historian Eric Foner, himself a Democrat, notes, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party.
Military force? They were terrorists. They weren't a military force. Well, I guess they were a military force because they were under the Democratic Party. So by that sense, they are a military force because they are technically under that branch of the government. So I guess.
President Woodrow Wilson, a Democrat, shared many views with the Klan. He resegregated many federal agencies and even screened the first movie ever played at the White House, the racist film, The Birth of a Nation, originally entitled The Klansman. A few decades later, the only serious congressional opposition to the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 came from Democrats. 80% of Republicans in Congress supported the bill. Less than 70% of Democrats did.
Bro, this is so hard to listen to, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna forget the reaction, bro. Forget it. Let's just talk. This is genuinely hard to listen to. Like, every single word they say, it's like, this can't be real, man. This can't be real. Civil Rights Act, 80% of the Republicans supported it. Less than 70% of Democrats supported it. This is so hard to listen to. It feels like I've just been told a lie, kind of. And not a lie as in saying, oh, the Republican Party, they do be like the Republican Party is bad, but it's more so in the sense of I've been in school forever. Literally my whole life up to this point. And I've never even, they teach you the information. They teach you the Ku Klux Klan existed. They teach you the Civil Rights Act. They teach you about all these momentous figures in the African-American world, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. But they don't really teach you their ideals. They don't teach you what parties were going against them. They don't teach you what presidents were going against them and what parties they were. They don't teach you what party supported slavery, what party opposed slavery. They just kind of leave out facts, and it's so convenient to leave out certain facts because it plays into the narrative to brainwash us. I feel like I've been getting brainwashed for years. And I'm not saying that and saying, oh, I'm going to flip around and change my whole political view. No, it literally feels like I've been getting brainwashed for years.
Democratic senators filibustered the bill for 75 days until Republicans mustered the few extra votes needed to break the logjam. And when all of their efforts to enslave blacks, keep them enslaved, and then keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats. As President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act, I'll have them voting Democrat for 200 years.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Now, the Democratic Party prospers on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing. Democrats falsely claim that the Republican Party is the villain, when in reality, it's the failed policies of the Democratic Party that have kept blacks down. Massive government welfare has decimated the black family. Opposition to school choice has kept them trapped in failing schools. Politically correct policing has left black neighborhoods defenseless against violent crime. So when you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party should come to mind? I'm Carol Swain, professor of political science and law at Vanderbilt University for Prager University.
Man, I can't even. I'm not gonna lie, this video ruined my whole evening. Like, I can't even. I'll catch y'all later, man.